Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Sila Prabhupada. Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Hare Krishna. Maybe you can all move just a little bit forward. We never know which saints and sages next to Muni will arrive. I want to greet all of you affectionately. Also our online audience, welcome, welcome, welcome. We called this evening the gifts of Vrindavan. That is because Krishna, Bhanunandini, many other devotees, and myself have just returned from Vrindavan and want to distribute the gifts immediately. This is the old tradition when a pilgrim in the old times would come back to his village after perhaps visiting Mother Ganga in the Himalayan mountains or going all the way south to Rameshwara. He would be greeted by the village and he would then share some of his insights with those who had remained back, and they would be blessed by this. It is actually said when a returning pilgrim would look at the villagers, they would feel, it's called Sanchari Chakti, a certain energy that comes not from the pilgrim himself, but from his places. So this is what we are trying to do in this program. We already had such a program rather spontaneously when I and Gaur Krishna had just come from the Brandenburg airport. But here we want to be a little bit more pronounced, a little bit more clear, perhaps, and we are hopeful to motivate all of you to also make such a pilgrimage. Also today we have a beautiful slide presentation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A beautiful slide presentation which we will show right after the lecture and before the prasadam on the screen of the Schloss. It's a rather impressive screen, and yes, we will use it. So let me then start, but first of all, welcome everyone. I'm surprised that so many of you could come, because I know that the upcoming festival days are attracting many of us. We need to go and celebrate with the family and so on. And thank you for making time to come today, and I do hope that you will be blessed really by this. So Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And all together 2 times now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Naminiti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vacharine Virveshesha Shunyavali Askatyane Satanine Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandam Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Go Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna. So yes, this year I had a profound experience when I left Vrindavan. The moment where we left this area, this holy place, which has, I don't know how many square kilometers, but anyone remembers? 84 kloshas is how they measure it in Indian language. I think that comes to 300 square kilometers or so. When we left it, we really felt as if leaving a cool room, which has a nice climate of refreshing atmosphere, and then opening the door and going into the blazing heat of the midday sun. Or another example which I would like to give is, it felt like leaving, I only know the German word, a Glocke, vielleicht wie eine Käseglocke, and then going outside of it into a totally other atmosphere. You can ask, were the smells different, or the temperature different, or what was so different when you left Vrindavan and came into the normal world, the world which is not a pilgrimage place, at least not on first glance. What exactly was different? And I can only describe it with one word: die Atmo. The Atmo, that means the German slang word. It means the atmosphere was different. And how did I feel the difference? I felt it in the heart and in the mind. I entered what you could call an emptiness, a loud emptiness. This is in my mind the Western civilization, a loud emptiness. It's very loud. Ooh, so much colors, so much sound, so much anxiety for money, for prestige, for competition, and so on. But all this leaves the heart empty, or without the tender feeling of perhaps love which you feel when you come close to it, to divinity. So yeah, the old emptiness had returned. That's how I would describe my exit of Vrindavan and my entering into the planet Earth, re-entering. And I will not leave you with this somewhat dismal, also trübsinnig analysis. There is something which one can obviously do outside of Vrindavan to be in contact with Vrindavan, even in European, but of this a little later. Holy places have a certain influence, and this influence can even be registered by people who are very materialistic. They can also understand it. A very old example is that of the blind king Dhritarashtra. I think those of you who've read Mahabharata and the Gita know, and I will not talk in great detail. The blind king Dhritarashtra was in his palace waiting for the outcome of the most intense war which this planet has seen ever, in terms of how many people were losing their life in this battle. No? So he was sitting in his palace, and he awaited news from this, from the front, the war front. And the Bhagavad Gita opens with the question of Dhritarashtra to his secretary Sanjaya, who would give him the news of his sons battling with their nephews, the Pandavas. Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, "O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu, the Pandavas, assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? King Akurvata." Now this question is, you would say, a foolish question, which you wouldn't expect from a highly intelligent king. What would they do? The two parties had prepared for battle, and now they're on the battlefield. What will they do there? Of course, they will engage in battle. It's almost like when you have prepared in a kitchen for a meal and you sit down on the table. What is the point of asking, what will they do? You will eat with your friends, of course. But still Dhritarashtra asked this question, what did they do after preparing for the battle? Because he knew Kim Akurvata, they were meeting on a sacred ground. The Kurukshetra is an ancient place of pilgrimage, and such places, they're known as Dhammakshetra, change people's mind. They change people's orientation. So he was a little doubtful. I read to you here in the words of my spiritual master. Why Dhritarashtra asked this question, Kim Akurvati, what did they do? Because he was a little doubtful. His sons and the sons of Pandu, after having assembled in the Dhammakshetra, might have changed their ideas and their desire to engage in battle. They might have settled up as ein Friedensvertrag. The sons of Dhritarashtra might have finally admitted, yes, Pandavas, you are actually the owners of this land. What is the use of this unnecessary fighting? So he was anxious whether or not they had changed their decision. This is a question raised thousands of years ago, but you can ask the same question now. Now where our Guru Krishna was in Vrindavan, now where Hari Seva was in Vrindavan, what has happened? Have they changed their mind totally? Will Guru Krishna fly airplanes from now on? or I don't know, will Hari Seva become an international lecturer? Have they changed? This question is a good question, because there is a certain Shakti at a holy place that starts to work at you. Those who don't want to change become sometimes nervous because they feel the energy working on them and the questions rising, which were long suppressed and put under the carpet. Are you living the life that you are meant to live? I would like to speak in reference to the holy place of Vrindavan. I would like to read you something which is in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 13, I believe. Yes. Srila Rupa Goswami has described Mathura Mandala of Vrindavan. He says, I remember the Lord standing by the banks of the Jamuna river, so beautiful amid the Kadamba trees. Now he explains this Krishna standing next to the Yamuna, and there are these ancient Kadamba trees with these very interesting flowers. There are many birds are chirping in the gardens, and these impressions are giving me transcendental realization of beauty and bliss. So, staying in this holy place, I realize the beauty of God and bliss, the tremendous happiness. Prabhupada continues, this feeling about Mathura Mandala and Vrindavan described by Rupa Goswami can actually be felt even by non-devotees. It means people who may not be so receptive to spiritual inputs. Also they can feel it. The places in the 84 square mile district of Mathura are so beautifully situated on the banks of the river Yamuna that anyone who goes there will never want to return to this material world. Such transcendental feelings are aroused immediately and without fail after one arrives in Mathura or Vrindavan. Yesterday, one very wonderful person said to me, I can see you. You still have not arrived here. And my answer was, yes, perhaps I never want to arrive. Ich will gar nicht ankommen. So on. So such is the influence of holy places, that you change your orientation. Things become more important for you than the things which you do here and which you hold in great esteem. And you feel something like a happiness which this world can never give you, and a happiness that this world can also not take away from you. So you feel so satisfied that, yes, you feel I have reached. Pilgrims have this experience consistently, and this is in the mind of Rupa Goswami due to two very pronounced Shaktis that are in these holy places. I remember there was a time when Gadadhar was very much interested in the work of one German scientist who said that in certain places certain energies come together. Wie hieß das nochmal, dieses Wissen? Which attracts others, like he said when we went through this old place in Berlin, which was a village, then you said this is a point which attracts people and money.
Global scaling?
Yeah, global scaling.
This turned out to be nonsense.
Yeah, see, Gadadhar is fighting already with what I'm going to say. When you are in New York, you feel busy. I know Bhanunandini, when she feels she needs inspiration, she goes, okay, let's forget global scaling, because let's forget material science altogether then, to be fair. And she will go to the center of Berlin to get inspirations and life, which is not so much there in the Neuruppins Einkaufszone. I think with this example, you know what I'm speaking about, no? New York has this atmosphere that you feel everything is possible, and other places may cause depression, in you. So places, it is known, have certain energies where you like to get some input in your life. Now, this principle, which is the basic principle of tourism, is very much there in the holy places. They have an energy which is called by Rupa Goswami Taraka and Paraka. Taraka means it frees you from your old programs, or the literal translation is liberation, and Paraka, it attracts you to Krishna. So these two energies are definitely working in Vrindavan Dham, and even non-devotees can feel it. One of my godbrothers told me that his parents, rich parents, had come, and the moment they stepped out of the taxi, they stepped into a pile of cow dung in Vrindavan. And he thought, now this is the end of their appreciation of Krishna consciousness, because Vrindavan has many animals going through the streets and doing all kinds of things, including the monkeys who steal your glasses. They are really expert now. Shoes and glasses they steal. Yes, so there is this aspect of the surprise that happens. But they fell in love with Vrindavan. One other person who had come to take her son out of Vrindavan said to him, I hate to admit it, but I woke up singing the holy names. So there is a certain influence that works on you. And this certain influence has two very particular gifts to give. Your devotion increases if you don't fight the influence. Of course, you can fight the influence and then nothing happens. And you will understand the playful Lord Krishna. You feel attracted to this aspect of God, which is totally out of the normal concepts. The God who dances and sings and laughs and who performs most astonishing pastimes, that he becomes all of a sudden very much, how do you say, clear to you. These are the two gifts of these two powerful energies: devotion, or love, or surrender, and the other is you connect, you become close, in fact, to the Lord of Love, Krishna. For this purpose, to get these gifts, countless pilgrims in the past have gone to Vrindavan. One of them is Rupa Goswami, who wrote a book called Utkalika Valari. And there in the second text he says, "O forest of Vrindavan, I have come to you, looking for shelter. I pray constantly to you, forest of Vrindavan. Radha and Krishna have taken shelter in this land. I feel very humbled. I'm not where I am in my spiritual life, and therefore, with a lowered head, I asked you, please show me the best way in which I can see the divine couple, Radha and Krishna, playing in my own heart." So to untangle these poetic words and bring it right to the point, pilgrims have gone to Vrindavan Dham in the hopes that in Vrindavan Dham they would have a darshan or a personal audience with God. I have one very good friend. His name is Burijan, and I believe some of you know him. And together we have given since 20 plus years international retreats in Vrindavan. Burijan Prabhu convinced me of building a retreat center there, and somehow or other a beautiful and huge place has now come, and his argument has been to me that, listen, so many people look for God in their life, but where they look, they are not successful in finding them, because there is a curtain between us and the Lord. You know, in the Bhagavatam, this curtain is described, Maya Javanikachana. No? O you, Krishna, who are always beyond the reach of the five senses, you are covered by a curtain of the deluding or illusory energy. So Burijan Prabhu told me this curtain is very thick everywhere else, but in Vrindavan there's only very small curtain. Here we don't have. It's Kalakanta has made two curtains where I live. One is a day curtain. It's only, you can look through it, but people can't look inside the house. And then over it, in the night, I draw another curtain, and there no light goes through. You cannot see anything. It's, I think it's called a day curtain, oder? Ist sie da? Nee, ist nicht da. Tagesvorhang. Ne? A day curtain. So, in this world, you can see all of us are going around, and there's a day curtain thick curtain between us and God. And you all know this. You are all practicing, or at least interested in Krishna consciousness. You know this. But in Vrindavan, the day curtain is opened, and you see this through a thin curtain, and have amazing experience. Either yourself, or you meet people who have seen something that has permanently changed them, and when they talk to you, when they open their hearts, they will tell you about their own spiritual experiences that have convinced them to give up. I mean, I've not met, but I've heard about people who were kings. Small in India, it's not difficult to be a king. You village king and so on. But they're rich and influential people who've just been turned into beggars who go, and we will see some of them in our upcoming slideshow. So this is this is what can happen in Vrindavan. These gifts can be given to you, and it can be really, really, really interesting. There's a prayer I want to conclude with. Radha Kara Vachita Palava Valarike Radha Padanka Vilasam Madhura Stalike Radha Yasho Mukaramatta Kagavalike Radha Vihara Vipine Ramatam Manome. Have you noted one word being repeated? Radha, yes. I pray that my heart may always find happiness in Srimati Radhika's pastime forest, where the creepers bear flowers that are picked by her own hands, where many charming places bear her footprints, and birds passionately sing her glories. So sometimes Radha goes and picks flowers with her own hands, and as she takes the flowers, the vines, so wie Schlingpflanzen, smile with their flowers. They are horripulate with their sprouts. It means horripulate, das ist wie eine Gänsehaut, die man kriegt. And they cry tears of ecstasy with the tickling drops of honey. Click, click, click. After picking the flowers, Srimati Radharani will sit on a platform, on a raised platform, and makes ornaments and garlands from these flowers. Can you imagine for whom? For Krishna. You know everything already. And Krishna then comes slowly, and she hears Krishna's foot bells or ankle bells ringing. Then it says the verse that there are many sweet places which are decorated with Radha's footprints. Sometimes Radharani dances, sometimes she walks, sometimes she skips. Das ist so wie so Kinder, die laufen so, die hüpfen so und hinterlassen dann so Schlierspuren. Then Syamasundar and the Sakis are overwhelmed with ecstasy because they hear the birds and the bees glorifying Radha's glories madly. So author, Prabodhananda Saraswati, prays, O mind, find pleasure in Radha's pastimes forest, where she takes pleasure in performing his lila, her lila. And with this I come to my final point. When you are in Vrindavan, the same Aufgabe, challenge, which you face in this world is also there. Yes, it's much easier to enter into deep states of absorption. But there is also a little threshold, eine Schwelle, die man which you have to cross. And it is, for me, it's the blaring loudspeakers. I feel no Indian should even come close to the volume button where you can turn up the volume in any instrument. India is often too loud for Western taste, too spicy, too quick, and so on. So yes, you find all these also in Vrindavan. You are tested, in fact. I was visiting one temple with one English group. Very nice people were there. One actor who really, I heard he is well known. I don't know about this world so well. And and then another person, and they stepped out of their shoes to go into the temple. And then one monkey stole this wonderful Western shoe of the actor. It was a beautiful shoe, and I've never seen this. He ran away from with the shoe onto the roofs. And usually they stay and they wait that you pay them with bananas and they give you the shoe back or the glasses or whatever they stole. But in this case, he was chased by a whole group of other monkeys who saw that his shoe was an item which they could also trade. So it's really like organized crime there amongst the monkeys, you know. They wanted to take the shoe which he had stolen away from him, and he didn't want to give it. So he ran to America with the shoe. I mean, very far away, I mean to say. And I was just there watching this, and I was watching the person who lost his shoe because he wouldn't get it back. This was clear. The monkey ran so far away with the shoe to not have to surrender the shoe to the gangster band who was running behind him, you know. And I was thinking, okay, this is one of the tests. How will this Westerner react? It was a very priceless shoe, good shoe. And will he say this is too much? I think we all come to this point in Vrindavan that sometimes just the different culture, it could be the heat, it could be the loudspeakers, it could be that you paid for an AC room, but there was no electricity in the room. So the AC doesn't work. It can be anything. And at that time, you will have to see, is there more to life than the things that I can arrange, that I can control, and which I'm afraid when I can't control them any longer. When the control slips out of my hand, I get anxious. And so on. In Vrindavan, the same question comes to you, which we all know. You know, the question is, can you take yourself out of the center of the story of your life, which you tell yourself again and again, and can you widen your consciousness to let something else in, to let God speak to you perhaps, and so on. That is something which in Vrindavan happens very quickly. It's something you can't escape. And therefore, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur prays here, O mind, I beg you, please find pleasure in Radha's pastimes forest, where she is playing her Leela. So the pilgrim is in Vrindavan also challenged, and that's the beauty of a pilgrimage. It always shows you your limits and where you can improve. So what should we do when we are outside of Vrindavan? There is Rupa Goswami, whom I have quoted a few times, says, I wanted just to say, I'll make this point a little later. Krishna smaram janam chasya preshtam nija samihitam tat kataratas chaso goyadvasam braje sada. These are recommendations for advanced practice in Krishna consciousness. The devotee should always think of Krishna within himself and choose a very dear devotee of Krishna who serves Krishna in Vrindavan. One should then constantly engage in topics about that servitor and his loving relationship with Krishna. And one should live in Vrindavan. If one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, he should mentally live there. So let us just stop for a moment. When you want to enter all of us have entered the Western society. How did we do this? Well, we learned the language when we were little babies. It started, or little children. Then we saw role models for us. It could be actors, it could be musicians, it could be scientists, it could be writers. And we became impressed with them, and we developed values, goals, aspirations around these whatever the influences are. So we became who we are by contact with the society in which we were born. Huh? Is it like this? No? Yes?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Some of you seem very dreamy. We became who we are by the society with which we have had our Sangha. So in spiritual life, you want to become something else than you are presently, because you know this is a very limited version of myself. So then what do? You have association with another society, with Krishna, with the devotees of Krishna in the spiritual world. And as you meditate about them, you take on the qualities. Today in Gora Bhavan, there were some devotees who tried this advanced practice to think about Krishna and his devotee, and to see it, as it is explained in Shastra, in the mirror of their mind, and to see what would happen. And there was a lively discussion afterwards, because many things had happened for the individuals. So it's really, Vrindavan is for me a place of cultural detoxification, a cultural detox. the detoxification of the materialistic society, I think we agree there are some serious problems which the society feels. It's an inner emptiness, really, that is tried to be, that they've tried to fill with all kinds of things which are alien to the self, which are fremd. So in Vrindavan, you try really this cultural detoxification, ein Detox. We had a retreat where imagine the retreat givers had to give their mobile telephones at the beginning of the retreat. The idea was a social media detox. It's a word. It's not that we, the Hare Krishnas, invented this. People understand in our society they need to be detoxified. Yeah. So we had this also. Yeah, for me, I said I want to come to an end. It always takes me so long to come to an end. When you asked me what have you really brought with you, you gave us a philosophical discussion, but we are now interested in you. What did you learn? I can only say Radha and Krishna really exist. I have learned this. I have seen them working on me, and I have seen how I reacted. I became so full of emotions, and so because I was touched by something that is more real than I think my ego is. So I was really seeing that, and it. I shared with the devotees something which I had seen. You know, I had seen a priest whom I appreciated. He was sitting next to the altar, and I could see he was talking to the deities on the altar, and the deities were talking back to him. And it was a talk. All of a sudden I saw that he nodded his head and cried, and I thought now I don't look any longer. This is very private, and I went away. So that 2 days later I heard what this talk was all about. The priest was found half submerged in one holy lake, the Siam Kunda. He had gone like he did at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's very cold now there. And he had taken his bath, he had slipped, and he had hit his head on one of the steps and immediately given up his body, half in the holy lake. So of course I'm practicing now this spiritual life since 50 years, but I was a little sad because he was a good man. I told the devotees in his temple, everyone was welcome. A bull was there, a cow took every evening the darshan of the deities when the arti was there. Everyone except the monkeys were welcome. Monkeys steal all this and create nonsense. And anyways, there were groups of Vaishnavas discussing, singing. It was really a place where it seemed the whole spiritual world was meeting there in a small temple, because he was so welcoming. He was a good man, a very spiritual man. So I was a little bit, now this Vaishnav Charan Das is gone. So I asked one elderly man, Vaishnav Charan, like this, means he's gone. And he responded to my sadness with a very happy expression. And I couldn't speak so well, but what he talked, and of course I understand by now many words, what I understood is why be said Vaishnav Charan has gone to the place he always wanted to go. He has left central prison. And then I remembered he had talked to the deities. The deities had talked to him. We want to take you back to us. Krishna had talked, and he had agreed. He was a little tearful because dying is a big thing. You do this only one time in this life, in this body. It's not always easy, and he didn't know how, but he had surrendered. Yes, I will come. And then he came in what is considered amongst spiritualists very glorious. Went quick. And he was. So based on many such experiences, I can see, yes, it's a reality. It's real. That is one thing, Radha and Krishna in the and the other is it is possible to experience Radha and Krishna in this body and in this life, and it's not just a concept. And how to say it? They take care of me even now as I live my life with in this body and this mind of a North German person. They are arranging the life. I saw so many arrangements in Vrindavan that I really felt accepted and loved, and for me this is a central theme in my spiritual life. I want to be accepted and loved by God, and I want to feel it, I want to see it, I want to know it beyond all doubts, and I'm like this. I think I'm not so different from all of you in this. So yeah, these are the two gifts. Radha and Krishna are in the center. They are the bigger reality than our constructed realities, and they care. This is the two gifts. In the scriptures it says in Vrindavan you learn devotion, so this is more specific, my own take on it, and so on. Gifts of Vrindavan were also laughter. I was laughing like I've never laughed before. And I was also sad like I had never been sad before. Do you know the Sufi poem Kalim Gibram? Yeah, how do we say? Yes, that is the right way to say. He is very famous, Der Prophet. I think everyone and their friend has read this book, no? Der Prophet and others books. He spoke about a spiritual practitioner who feels spiritual life is too intense and who therefore goes back to material life. It's what we see very often in our movement. Devotees, die schalten ein paar Gänge runter, nicht? They and live. So it's good name? Chalim Shobram. Yeah. Yeah. He says, okay, I understand. Then run away from the house of love. Run into the world. But in the world you will never laugh all your laughter, and you will never cry all your tears. It's a little mediocre, mittelmäßig zu Deutsch. So yes, in Vrindavan, this is one of the gifts. I felt so happy, like I've never felt before the whole year. And also I did feel, oh, I really regret that I'm sometimes so far away. That was the teary part. And so, yeah. So these are three gifts, if you wish to. Yes. I hope to make myself more clear with the slideshow, which I want to show to you. Let me now look at the...
Right on time.
What? We are right on time. Yes, I want to say to all of you on the mobile telephone, I hope I found the right words today. It is always a great honor for me to know that people care to switch on their computers and take part in these programs. Thank you very, very much. I want to wish you also that you can find in your heart the desire to go to Vrindavan, and that you can come closer to your spiritual ideals. All the best, and Hare Krishna.